Hi everyone, I've had a lot of requests about how to make my beach hut, which is on the top of all my blog. So I thought I'd just make a video because it was easier to show you this way. Now you'll need the template, which you can print out on my tutorial blog. If you go to my blog, Cornwall Crafty Stamper, and click on the tutorials link at the top, you'll be able to print this template out. It's down the left hand side column of the blog. Okay, so once you've printed out that template, you'll be needing to transfer that onto some Whisper White cardstock. You'll need 2 copies of the walls and you'll need 1 roof. Okay, we're going to start with the beach hut walls, and what I'm going to do is I'm taking a piece of scrap cardstock which I have left over, and we're just going to work on the wood for the walls of the beach hut. Now what you do need to remember is when you look at your template, you need your walls to go together like that. So make sure you know that you are working on two sides like that so that you can stick it together. Okay, so they need to both be up the right way. Now what we're going to do is we're going to lay the beach hut down, and I'm using the centimetre marks which are on the Stampin' Up paper, and I'm going to use some Sage Shadow ink with my sponge dauber. I'm just putting the sponge dauber into the ink pad, and I'm going to line up my piece of scrap paper, and I'm going to do it at 1 centimetre intervals, and I'm just going to very lightly just run some colour along the walls of my beach hut. I don't know if you've ever seen white wood. It tends to have a little bit of a green tinge, but this is just a really good way to get the panelling on the walls. Okay, and it's really quick as well, it doesn't take very long. And I'm just going to run that all over my beach hut about 1 centimetre apart. If you're doing this in inches, then you'll need to resize the pattern for your American cardstock if you're working in the USA, and usually when you print out your pattern it gives you an option to size to the paper, so you'll be wanting to do that so that it fits your cardstock. Okay, so you get the idea. I'm going to go all the way up the cardstock like that. Now next we're going to do the roof. Okay, and I'm going to be using basic grey for this, and a sponge dauber again, and a piece of scrap cardstock and a scallop edge punch. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to scallop my piece of scrap cardstock, just like that, and then once again I'm going to line this up on the cardstock, and just as we did before, get the excess off before I do it, because I don't want it too dark. Okay, and I'm just going to run that up along my cardstock. This time I'm working about ½ centimetre, which is just under 1/4 inch. So I'm going to run that over the whole of the piece of cardstock just really quickly. It doesn't have to be, it's a weathered roof, so So there's the top of my roof. Okay, so next of all, now we've done both of our walls with the sage shadow, we're going to just fold our flaps down at the top of the roof, and we're just going to fold our bottom flaps a little bit, and we'll be needing to put a front door on our beach hut. I'm going to make this one in Bashful Blue today. So what you need to remember is that your door needs to fit on the front of your beach hut. Okay, I'm not going to give you any dimensions for this because you need it to fit your beach hut, and depending on how you print out your template, obviously it could differ slightly to mine. Okay, so I'm going to cut out one rectangle, and then I'm going to cut out another rectangle to go in the middle. Okay, this one's just going to be slightly smaller, but they're both going to, so that we can layer one on top of the other. Okay, so that you have a door frame and your door. Now I'm going to just take my basic grey around the edges just a little bit on the blue, using Bashful Blue here, and then I'm going to take my scoring blade and I'm just going to create the wood effect. Now I'm not going to be too precise with this, it really isn't going to make too much difference how far apart my scores are, because it's a miniature door. So but I am going to score that piece of cardstock all the way down, just probably at a 1/16 of a gap if you want to be exact, or a couple of millimeters. We're just adding a bit of texture to the door, really. Okay, and then I'm just going to take a stylus and a ruler, and I'm just going to put the gap, the bottom closing doors in. There we go, just like that. Now I'm just going to distress this a little bit. I'm going to take my basic grey sponge dauber, and I'm just going to wipe it slightly across my door frame, across my door. And you can put as much time into this as you want. If you can see that, hopefully, I put quite a bit of detail on this one, and I made some hinges out of a piece of white cardstock, and I added some brads for some door handles. Okay, so once you've done that, you're going to stick your door onto your door frame. Now you can use dimensionals if you want to, and obviously if you want to put your door handles on, then you need to do that before you stick it onto your house. Okay, I'm just going to stick mine on now, just like that, just to save time. So I've stuck my door onto my house. Now I also use the Pocket Silhouette stamp set just to add some weeds around the side, but I think you get the idea. Now the best thing to do is to use sticky strip if you want this box to hold together really, really well. But I'm going to just stick mine together. So what we're doing is we're sticking a front to a side all the way round, and then turn it over, and you want to do the same with the other piece. Now if you're making a birdhouse and you want a hole in the front, then you need to punch that before you stick it together, obviously. So but this pattern would be perfect for either. Okay, so we've got our box shape. I'm just going to fold down the flaps on the back. Okay, and then we're going to move on to the base, and I'm going to fold opposite side flaps in. Okay, and that will give you a nice neat bottom. Okay, so I've stuck the bottom down, so now I have my basic hut shape. Now you're going to have your roof, and obviously your roof is not going to stay on just like that, okay? So we need to put something on there just to keep it in place. What you'll need is a full length piece of cardstock, okay? And what I did was I cut 2 strips out of my cardstock, and I did those at about 1.25 inches wide, which is just over 3 centimeters. Okay, so I have 2 strips, and then I took my scallop edge punch, and starting in the middle I ran my scallops all the way along the cardstock. Okay, so that I had 2 scallop strips. And the next thing you need to do is you need to decide how deep you want your scallops. If you want a lot of scallops showing, then obviously that's going to depend on where you put your score line. I did mine about 1/2 inch down the centre, okay, and just folded it over. And then I made a snip somewhere in the middle, because you're going to have a bit of excess cardstock left over, okay, and I did a diagonal cut so that I could overlap my my edging, I guess. Now the other thing you're going to need to do is you need to have a look at the front of your hut, so it needs to be the same angle as the front. So the easiest way to do this is to take your hut and fold that along the score lines that you've already got, and then just snip off the excess like that. Okay, I'm going to use a glue dot just to hold that in place. Okay, so that I know what sort of angle I need my roof to be at. Next, I'm going to add the adhesive to the edge of my roof. Lay my scallop edge into my roof so that the edges line up, and then I'm going to fold up the other side of my roof. Okay, and as you can see, I've got some excess there, so I just cut mine off straight, but if you wanted to try and join in your scallops, then that's up to you. Okay, and then my roof just fits on the front of my beach hut like that. Obviously I'd do the other side as well. You could add a flower to the top here just to cover that up, but that's how I made my beach hut. I'm just going to bring the finished one down here. Obviously you can add as much detail as you want to your beach hut, and you could even add a flap so that you just lift off your lid if you wanted to. But that's how I did it, and the pattern is on the side of my blog, so feel free to print that off and use it. If you try it out, then please do leave a comment and let me know how you got on and what you thought of it. And if you can, send me a photo of what you made, because that would be really great too, because I'd love to see that. So thanks for joining me. I hope you enjoyed the tutorial, and I'll see you again next time.